Hello, everybody. It is Meditation Tuesday, and this week we are spending with the crone, the fabulous, crazy, wild crone. And I actually have the cards with me today. I've finished moving out and packing, so these babies have made it back out of a box. And so the Sacred 13, as I haven't shown them in a couple of lives because they have been tucked away, but these cards represent the archetypes, the 13 archetypes that we are getting to know during this 13-week series. And this week we are with the crone, the wonderful, wonderful crone. And so these cards were co-created by my teacher, Dr. Ricky Jane Adams of the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence. Dr. Ricky channeled and allowed the guidance written on the back to come through using her non-local intuition, which we have discussed a little bit here on this channel. And then the design, the artwork was also intuited non-locally from one of my fellow sisters of the Institute, Christy Jamison. And together these two powerhouses of women put together these cards. Now they are, I want to affirm that the power is all inside here. These are literally just physical representations of the archetypes that are encoded into these cards. There is absolutely, like, this is just cardboard with a beautiful image on it and some really intuitively intelligent words written on the back, but they are powerless without me. They are powerless without you. So that is important to note here. But the medicine comes through the intelligence that they give us when we are able to open ourselves up to archetypal sight or symbolic sight, and we are able to open ourselves up to expand our consciousness through looking through archetypal lenses. So I'm just going to read to you the intuitive, intelligent words that have been encoded with the crone, that have come through that archetypal energy of the crone, through the vessel that was Ricky Jane. And yeah, here they are. So, I am not afraid of your beliefs about me. I know when the time comes and I seep into your veins, you will understand what I know to be true. I already have all that you are seeking. I am the end result of all your fruitless longing. I have lived and died and lived again. I am the vessel and the balm that is poured within. I have danced with the cosmos, and I have peered through the veils. I am unafraid because I know who I am, and I am not afraid of her. I embrace that I am outcast, as will you, for in this space of nothing, of nothingness, everything belongs. The crone is a pure representation of our non-dual reality. And if you aren't familiar with that term, dualism is the belief that, we have a masculine and a feminine that are separate. Dualism is the belief in separation. Non-dualism is the opposite of that, is the truth that masculine and feminine are whole. There is no separation between the two. There is no separation between light and dark. There is no separation between me and you. Non-dualism is the immutable laws in captured and encompassed. And the immutable laws are 3 laws that I'm currently training in, doing the teacher training with the Institute of Intuitive Intelligence, which is a program that I am learning to. It's actually developing my skills as a teacher, and the teacher is someone who I have quite intimately connected with the crone archetype. For me specifically, the crone was definitely one of the archetypal energies that I was first communing with before I realized what the heck I was doing. And she came to me in a meditation, and she showed herself to me as my late great grandmother on my mother's side, Miriam Tahi, and she is a, an archetype that is very, very support. She's very close to me and very much supporting me on my pathway in sacred service, especially as a teacher, especially as a fierce teacher, like I believe that my dear Tunana was. And what I really love about the crone energy is that she really held me to own my crazy, own my madness, and be okay with that, because that was such a liberating thing for me, to own my madness, to own my crazy. For a long time, I fought it. I hid from it. I was ashamed of it. And then I just realized we're all fucking mad, and I'm just okay with that. So the crone has this really fierce, really wild, wild sort of energy with the way she presents herself to me. Now, the cool thing about archetypes is there's no fixed way that they will present themselves. The crone could have a very wide-eyed wonder sort of maiden aspect of herself coming through. It's so open to the alchemy of your experience with these archetypal energies. So with the power in that, and what I am offering you in understanding how these archetypes are not fixed in the way that we know and understand them, is in fact they're always evolving, just as we are. The power in that is that you decide ultimately how these archetypes present themselves to you, because ultimately you are the power source. Okay, so when we go into meditation, we're going to be journeying within to meet with the crone. And a little bit of insight. I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of the science, a little bit of the hows and the whys as to why it is that we engaging in a practice like this can benefit us in a whole way across our mind, body, spirit, and emotions. So when we are going into meditation, we are retreating from the superficial world where our high beta brainwave state is most thrived, and that is where we are constantly going. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the sympathetic nervous system, which is that's our foot on the gas. That's our foot propelling us forward, propelling us through the day, so that we can get all of the things done. And because of years, in like hundreds of years of conditioning, we are no longer tuned in, or we are no longer in a system, a physical or biological system where we are putting the brakes on naturally. We have such a busy society, busy way of living, that we are constantly having our foot on the accelerator unless we consciously take our foot off and allow ourselves to slow down and actually be still and actually rest and recover. So when we are constantly in this state, this sympathetic state where our nervous system is go, unless we stop, eventually the only way that we're going to stop is when we hit the wall or when we run out of gas. And neither of those options are healthy for us. We can't, that's not sustainable for us to be able to do the marathon that is our life in this reality. So by choosing, by making the conscious choice to put your foot on the brakes at least 5 to 10 minutes a day, we are allowing the body to rest and recover and regenerate. And if you think about the whole pandemic that we are currently all being impacted in at the moment, we saw the whole world come to a complete stop, and it wasn't a choice, right? The brakes that the whole entire planet hit a brick wall. We ran out of gas. We were forced to stop. We were forced to stay indoors. We were forced to stop. And the outcome of that was Mother Earth got to regenerate. For that period of time when the whole world was in lockdown, we saw a significant amount of restoration in Mother Gaia. And that is a huge archetypal demonstration of how this whole system within our body works in the greater body that is our universe. And what the science of that occurrence is, it comes into the science of intuition. Now, the science of intuition, it tells us, it's formed on the basis that we are all interconnected. We are, and I've spoken a little bit about this previously, where we are all biologically fields within fields within fields. We have, on an atomic subatomic level, when you consider a single atom, which we are made of billions and billions of, a single atom is made of the nucleus and protons and neurons in the center, with 95% space around it. And then, and in that space is that 95% within the atom is energy in motion. And then we have that times billions, right? We are made up of billions and billions and billions of these tiny little atoms, which are mostly space, which are mostly energy in motion. And so when we, if we look at that, if we zoom out on that, and this again, I'm just going to give you a little break and just allow this mind explosion to just do that. It's okay. You're not going to get it the first time that you hear this. You might not get it the 10th time you hear this. But when we look at the single atom and then transfer that to the whole, this is where the truth of us being holographic, a piece of the whole, where we are a piece of the whole. When we zoom out of that, we are made up mostly of space. We are made up mostly of energy in motion, and that extends out into our fields. We are fields within fields within fields that are interacting, corresponding, communicating at all times. And so I lost where I was going with that. The science of intuition, that's right. And then the other component of the science of intuition, which is what we are practicing when we go into meditation, is the heart. The heart is the most powerful organ that we have in our body. The Heart Math Institute has done years of research into this, and they have demonstrated that the heart has 40,000 electromagnetic pulses happening within it, which is 500 times more than the brain. The brain is where we are running from our sympathetic system. That is where we are busy in our high beta. And then when we practice meditation, when we slow down, when we put those brakes on, when we allow ourselves to rest and recover and regenerate, we are dropping into the space of our heart. Now, our heart is the bridge for us to retreat from the superficial world, which is the symptoms of the dream, which is what we can see, feel, touch in our local proximity. And then when we move into the space of our heart, the intelligence of our heart, we are retreating from the superficial world to enter into our subconscious mind. Again, if you want to look at the transference between a single atom and the way that the composition of our mind, which is 5% conscious mind and 95% subconscious mind, looking again at the Freudian iceberg as a kind of visual for you to kind of see that the atom and is a very direct representation, or sorry, the iceberg rather, is a direct representation of a single atom, being 5% matter, 95% energy, being 5% conscious mind versus 95% subconscious mind. Again, this is probably blowing your whole entire world apart, and that's okay. It did for me too, and it's a process to really integrate that, which is why I like to teach before I move into doing the practice, so that you can kind of understand what it is that you're actually doing and why, and with the intention that you will take your own self-responsibility to maintain this sort of practice in your life, because it will ultimately make shifts within your life that you maybe right now aren't even conscious of, which is really exciting for me. So when we are moving into this state of meditation, we're coming into a place of stillness and silence, and in 5 minutes of that can be make all of the difference to your day. The second, so with that heart being deeply part of the science of intuition, when we privilege our heart on a day-to-day basis, the way that we experience our life is very different. We begin to shift out of the victim, the stories, the saboteur stories, the stubborn child stories, all of these shadow archetypes, which I'll talk about again in another time. But when we privilege the heart, we live from the heart, and the heart knows exactly what it needs and to be able to live most sustainably. I have I'm going to go for it because it just really fascinates. I think I might have spoken about it here before as well, but the when it's kind of like when you consider a Romanesco broccoli, right? When you live from and you privilege your heart and you live from your heart's intelligence, much like a broccoli, a Romanesco broccoli. I'm not sure if you have ever seen them, but they twist and turn and they make these really cool patterns, Fibonacci patterns, where they're constantly spiraling and turning. Like, they just look so cool. And it's a perfect analogy to living from and privileging the heart, because the whole broccoli, the whole Romanesco broccoli, is always living to create sustainable growth for the entire vegetable. And so that is why it's constantly got these, that's why it's got these little patterns, because they're constantly moving to be able to receive the most amount of energy, whether it be light, water, shade, whatever. It knows exactly what it needs for it to be able to grow sustainably and abundantly and fruitfully. And so that is exactly how we should be living our lives. We should be constantly moving and turning to the sun, turning to the water, turning to the shade, whatever it is that fills us and sustains us for our existence. Meditation is a way for us to do that. It is a way for us to tune in and see what is our next step that is going to be the most sustainable for us. So if you have any questions, whether you're here live or on the replay, please pop them in. I would love to see where you're at with this. I know the first time I was hearing this, I like, it just made sense to me. I could feel it, it was true, even though my brain was like, what the fuck is going on? What is she talking about? That's okay. So yeah, if you do have any questions, please bring them, and I would love to respond to them for you. But now it is perfect time for us to journey within, retreat from the superficial world, and go into that 95% space around us, which is our subconscious mind, to see where it is, what our next step might be for us, what is the most next sustainable step for us. So if it is safe for you to do so, I invite for you to close down your eyes, letting go of all that has brought you to this point in your day. Taking in a deep breath, filling your belly as much as possible, hold at the top. And then let it all go out through the mouth with an audible sigh. Taking in another deep breath, filling your belly as much as possible, noticing where any tension is sitting in your body. And as you exhale out through the mouth, expel every bit of stagnant air from your body. We're going to take in one more deep breath in through the nose, filling your belly as much as possible, and hold at the top. Letting it all go out through the mouth with an audible sigh. And with your eyes closed and your breath deepened, we signify to the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, that it is safe to be here. It is safe to take the foot off the accelerator. Bring 2 fingers or the palm of your hand to the center of your chest. This physical touch signifying that we are diverting out of that sympathetic response into the parasympathetic response, into the heart's intelligence, where we are privileged to the most sustainability. Visualize now, see, hear, feel, or just know that there is a spark of light at the center of your chest. And with each breath in and out, this light begins to grow with ease and grace. It fills your whole entire physical body. And as you take in your next breath and let it go, it expands now to fill your entire subtle body. This glorious light of your heart extending to approximately 2 meters outside of your physical body. And on your next breath, this light expands now to fill the room in which you sit. And still this light begins to grow effortlessly out of you, so that it fills your entire home. And on your next breath, this light expands to fill the entire street, and then suburb, and then state, and then your whole country. The light of your consciousness bathes your entire country. And still this light moves ever outwards with ease and with grace until it fills the entire planet. See, feel, hear, or just know this light, the light of your consciousness, completely enveloping the entire planet and every single person, living being inhabiting this space, being bathed in your light. Now bring to mind thoughts of gratitude, feelings of gratitude, and give yourself over to this feeling state, allowing it to shift you in whatever way is required for this moment, amplifying this state of rest and restoration. And know that when we come together and do this, we magnify the power and potency of this feeling state. Notice before you there is a doorway. Notice the size, the color, and the shape of the door as you gently lower your hand to your lap. And you knock on the door, signaling your intention to go deeper, and it opens before you with ease and with grace. And as you step through the door, you find yourself deep in the forest of your heart. And before you is this incredible stone temple. Noticing how this temple has presented itself to you, whether it be aged or still a new Perhaps it is covered in moss and vines and it has become part of this forest, or perhaps it is made of trees. Maybe even it is inside a mountain and there is the entrance that is a cave. See, feel, hear, or just know what this temple and how this temple looks to you, looks and feels to you. And you begin to walk up the steps to an entranceway into this temple. There is another doorway at the top of the stairs that opens before you, leading you into a chamber. And on the other side of this chamber is yet another door. And you walk through the door, finding yourself emerging into the center of this temple. And there is only the softest amount of light filtering through, perhaps through stone windows or cracks in the trees of your heart's temple. And in the center of this space, you see the crone waiting for you. And she is smiling as you approach her. Notice how it is she's presented herself to you. Is she the old hag, the witch with her cauldron? Is she a woman of color? Is she even human at all? Allow the face that she has shown you today to come through in whatever way it does. Notice how she makes you feel. Are you afraid to be in her presence? What is it that is rising in you as you sit in her presence? And you take your seat at her feet. And she gracefully sits before you. Again, noticing everything, every single sensation that is rising within you. She sits in silence, staring into your soul. Do not look away. Do not be afraid. The crone speaks. It is time, my child, for you to come home. It is time, my child, for you to remember who you are. It is time, my child, to put down your littleness. There is no space so long as you sit in your littleness. It is time, my child, to rise up. It is time, my child, for you to be seen in all of the power that you are. You cannot hide from it any longer, my child. It is a part of you, and you are a part of this world, and there is need, non-negotiable need. It is a requirement that you step into your power. It will be the most courageous step that you will take into this present moment, into the truth that you are all things. This world is filled with fear, and it is not yours. This fear is but an illusion. Simply close down your eyes and you will know that to be true. This fear is an invitation for you to meet with it face first. And though it may feel like that is the biggest task, facing it is equally as potent in the sitting and the stillness of facing that. You cannot project this madness outside of you any longer because it is projecting from within you. There is but only one of us. And it is our own responsibility to meet with the fear and the shame and the guilt. And in doing so, we set ourselves free. It is time now, child. Do not hide from me any longer, for I am not going anywhere. You see the crone looking away now, and you sense this time with her is over. You bow your head in reverence and honor for this gift of her wisdom that she has bestowed upon you. You see a doorway before you, and you step through it. Find yourself sitting opposite me, taking a deep breath, and let it all go. Bring some gentle movement back to your body, to your fingers, to your toes. And when you are ready, blink open your eyes. I invite you to allow that to percolate within you in whatever way it needs to. Perhaps pick up a journal and pen and allow that process to come through. Journaling, whatever it is, that experience, familiarize yourself with that energy. How did she make you feel? Was it confronting? Was there fears that surfaced? All of it, everything that came through is supporting your sustainability. And the law of mentalism tells us that all is one. And when we do this for ourselves, we do this for all, which is very much woven into the law of correspondence as well. Thank you to everyone who has joined me live or will catch the replay. I'm just going to sit in this energy a little bit longer, but in about half an hour, I'm going to jump back on and share with you my new offer that will be live in that thread, ready for you to say, yes, I'm ready, I'm all in. So yeah, I will see you very soon, and thank you all for joining me live or catching the replay. Please know that if you aren't here live and you do catch this on the replay, that there is no space and time that separates us, and that perfect the timing will be perfect for you when you are able to tune in and see this. Thank you, Dale. Such it was. I'm really just I'm just going to go sit with that for a little bit longer, because it is really, I can feel my whole body and my whole self just restoring from that medicine. It was beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, thank you. Okay, I will see you all soon.